Hey, you guys. Hola. From the west side, it is me, DC the Purple Diva, and welcome to Not So Random Chat. I hope you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Let me see. I'm going to have to see if I can hear myself. Oh, yeah, I can hear myself. Okay. All right. So it's Friday, y'all. Thank God it's Friday. But 2020 sucks because we lost another one today. We lost Chadwick, aka Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman, at the age of 43 from colon cancer. We didn't even know this man was sick. So I'm gonna share out my stream before I move forward. So let me just share it on out. Chat. He was 43 years old, y'all. And he was, starting to really, make an impact. And he's gone. And what I will say about colon cancer is that it's one of the things that kills a lot of black men. Kills a lot of black men. And I don't know if you guys know or are familiar with the barbershop series that some barbers started doing so that they could talk about men's issues in a safe setting for men. Um, and this is one of the things that they talked about, about getting a colonoscopy, making sure, checking your colon and everything. And I'm not saying that he wasn't on top of it because he was living with it and we didn't know it, you know? He was living with it and we didn't even know it. And I attribute that to him being a private person. So it makes it kind of like a somber Friday. I mean, I didn't even want to believe it. My dude saw it on Facebook, and I'm like, oh, that's Facebook. We ain't heard nothing about him being sick. This is me thinking. And he went and looked. I'm like, and then it got real. I mean, I know we were all looking forward to the next movie that he's in. And I'm not saying that there aren't some other movies that are going to be coming out with him in them. But now, thankfully, he's done some really good movies. But his movies are going to be classics. 43 years old. I'm just tripping off of him being so young. And we didn't even know he was sick. And I do remember now, and they're talking about he did have a post up earlier this year. I vaguely remember that post. And, I thought he looked, thinner and everything, but I wasn't even thinking anything such as this. I wasn't even thinking it would, something like this. You know, and what this means, y'all, because Black Panther came out and Infinity Wars came out within, you know, the last 4 years, it means that when he was, when we've been seeing him, he had been battling this cancer like a warrior. Hey TLD, I saw your tribute to Chadwick. Big ups. This is a shocker, you guys. I mean, this is a shocker to me. I mean, you know, when I got off here last night and I said, hopefully I will be talking about something else today. This is not what I thought I'd be talking about. You know, this is not what I thought I'd be talking about. I'm blown away because colon cancer is is an issue within the Black community, with our black men. Not getting their colon checked out, and I'm well aware that colonoscopy, having a colonoscopy, and having your colon checked is not a fun process, but it can save your life because early detection of colon cancer can save a life. And I know that he was private about this, but in a way I wish that he had said something while he was going through this to encourage other men. And I don't know, he may have been doing that without even, talking about his own circumstances. Oh, I just feel so horrible about this. He was so young. I'm like, y'all, I can't take it. I can't take no more. We're losing soldiers. We are losing our Black men. You know, either they're dying too young or they're being slaughtered in the streets. It's either or. I'm just, it's so, it's tragic to lose, you know, a young Black warrior, because from what I could see with Chadwick, he not only talked the talk, but he walked the walk. I'm talking about as far as, his commitment to his Black brothers and sisters, and excellence. He went to Howard. Hey, Matt. And from what I understand, both he and I don't know if you guys, the young lady who plays the wife on All of Us, or what? Yeah, All of Us. About the one with Sterling, the one who plays his wife on there. She and Chadwick were in undergrad together, and they were mentored by none other than Felicia Rashad, who also is a Howard alumni. And she saw big things with them. They were part of the next generation, coming up. And I didn't even I didn't even realize that he had made 40. I thought this man was still in his 30s. He looked so young. But early 40s is still young. You know, but I hope that in people talking about Chadwick, that they also bring awareness to colon cancer. Hey, Adelina. Yeah, just talking about Chadwick Boseman, you know, leaving this world today. And he was only 43 years old. That's what I'm saying. None of us knew he was suffering. No one knew he was going through. He was going through it like a soldier. He was not, he didn't tell nobody. Nobody, we didn't know. I mean, I'm sure his family knew. But I understand why he might not have said something publicly, because if, you know, when they know you're battling something or that you're sick, it can mess with your career. You know, so I'm sure that's part of, you know, why he didn't say anything. And also, he probably thought that he was going to beat this because he was a young man. But I'm going to take it that the appearance that people may have seen of him earlier this year when he got on his Instagram, and it's still in his Instagram story for those of you who are wondering, he did take it out of his actual Instagram, but it's still in his Instagram story unless his team has now taken it out of his Instagram story. But it, you know, just looking at that, he probably was going through chemo. He may have been going through chemo. And chemo takes a lot out of you, just knowing from people that I know who have gone through chemo. It takes a lot out of you. Because, you know, when people go through chemotherapy, the radiation, it not only is killing, you know, the cancerous rebellious cells, but it's also killing good cells. You know, because that's what cancer is. Cancer is a rebellious cell. It is cells that do not want to follow the program. They want to do what they want to do. They don't want to do what they're supposed to do. You know, I mean, a lot of us have had members of our family who have been taken out by cancer, by some form of cancer. You know, a lot of us know people who have been taken out by cancer, and unfortunately, among us who are Black people, we unfortunately have a higher rate of it in the Black community. And cancer can be caught. I mean, I'm just going to tell you guys, a lot of things that cause cells to become cancerous sometimes can be our lifestyles, you know, stress. Stress, believe it or not, can make you sick. Or anger, you know, pent up anger, you know, bitterness. People who are bitter can make themselves sick. And I mean, literally, you know, but for most of us, many of us there are some cancer cells in most people's bodies, because, you know, generally there's some cell that does not want to obey. But the thing is that for most of us, our bodies are able, the rest of the cells are able to get those rebellious cells under control, and they generally don't outnumber the rest of us, the rest of the cells, you know. It is definitely a loss, to our black actors, to Black Hollywood. I believe that he was a member of the Divine Nine. I believe that Chadwick was a member of Alpha Phi Alpha. So I'm sure that his fraternity brothers are also, you know, mourning this loss as well. I think that a lot of black people are really mourning this loss. I think a lot of people are because, we were watching him as he was, just going through making his mark on Hollywood. And it is just about every movie that he's done was a really good movie, and that means they're like instant classics now. And I'm just thinking, we were just watching Black Panther last week. Last week I was watching Black Panther because I love it. Even though I know it's fictional, it's just beautiful to see black people like that, you know? Because for those of us here in the United States, we don't know about any of that history. At least, our cousins on the continent may have some of that in their oral history, but all of that has been taken away from us. So, this is a fantasy of, really badass black people when we saw Black Panther. And they can't replace him now. They better not put another person into that role. It just would be wrong. It would just be wrong. Hey, Tutu Thing Thing. Hey, Uppity. Yeah, just talking about Chadwick Boseman. Another fallen star. Another fallen star. I mean, yeah, but I watched a couple of movies that he was in because there was another movie that he was in, and I don't remember the name of it. But what was it called? 21 Bridges. Yeah, he was in this movie called 21 Bridges, where he actually was a ghost that one of the other characters just kept seeing, who had died long, long ago. But I remember that the actor, what is dude's name? What is dude's name that played Satchel Paige and yeah, Delroy Lindo.
Talking about a different movie. That's Fire the Bloods you talking about.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. Yeah, but Chadwick was in that movie. Yeah, the last movie that he was in. This is the last movie that he was in. It was about some guys going back over to Vietnam, and they were going back over there to go find his body because he had been killed, and so they were going back over. And Delroy Lindo talked about Chadwick coming in to play that role because it wasn't a big role, but the movie basically, you know, was around how he had died. And Delroy talked about how he came in and killed the role. And it was the last movie that he did. You know, I'm not going to just say this for men. I'm going to say this for ladies too. Please make sure that everything's together. You know, have keep get your regular checkups. Get things checked out. You know, I'm talking to me too. Okay? Don't let things go unchecked. You know, because we are bad. I'm just talking about us, you know, as Black Americans. We're bad about going to doctors. We don't really like going to the doctors. You know, and we don't trust doctors. But because of that, many of us die of things that we don't have to die of, because they could be caught earlier if we would just take care and get ourselves checked out on a regular basis. So that I'm saying that to everyone. I'm not saying that Chadwick was not getting himself checked out, because he probably was. Because if he wasn't getting himself checked out, he wouldn't have known 4 years ago that he had it. So clearly he was one of the people who was getting himself checked out. And because he did that, he was fighting it for 4 years. You know, but I'm just saying, us as a people, we need to take our health so seriously. That's one of the reasons why many more of us are catching this. And here's the thing, for whatever reason, I don't know if this is like all over, but here it seems to be men that are more susceptible to it. Hmm. And I'm not talking about in healthcare, I'm just talking about in the general population. And it's probably because a lot of men are maybe in working in, you know, jobs that are quote unquote essential. But I told you they were saying that they thought there's certain blood types. But, you know, they were talking about, they were trying to figure out if it affected people who don't have RH in their blood differently than it affects people who do have RH in their blood. They don't know. They think that people who have type A blood, you know, or at least they are seeing, like at least in Los Angeles County, they've seen that more people who have type A blood have had it or have tested positive for it, you know. But I don't know if they broke it down to whether people had RH or not RH in their blood. But we as a people, yeah, we don't take our health nearly as seriously as we should. So losing someone that, as far as we could see, appeared to be a very healthy individual, you know, and he clearly, you know, had money at his disposal to get the best medical care. But yet and still, Chadwick Boseman is gone at the age of 43. I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, Matt. I know it can be missed, but I know that on a whole, from what I understand, black men don't like to go get that done. Hell, men, I don't think men like getting it done at all. I mean, it's you know, it's probably just like women with getting pap smears. We're not trying to have some foreign instrument stuck up in us, so we understand. But it's about being healthy and saving a life, and saving your life. And this is one of those cancers that can be missed, especially if you don't get yourself checked on a regular basis. It is one of the ones that can be missed. And I don't even know if colon cancer is that easy to, or it didn't used to be that easy to test for, but now they have people, you can have the test sent to your house so that you can, you know, send your stool back and stuff. They've come a long way in regards to being able to check. People can do part of that stuff from the house nowadays. No, I know it's not fun. I mean, and but that's what I was saying. That's why they were using like the barbershop series in barbershops across the country, and black barbershops across the country, and they were talking about things like this with black men in what would be considered, a safe space for men to be able to talk about things like that. So, you'll send off the turds. send off the tur- Yeah, I mean, you guys have seen that commercial, right? There's a commercial, a CP commercial. There is a commercial, yeah, with a little cartoon thing. It comes on regular TV. So I'm sure if you watch it comes on all the time. It comes on day and night. It comes on because it's like literally one where you mail it in. They send it to you and you mail it in. I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm just laughing because you know they they think of everything so that you have no excuse. In other words, in getting things checked out, you can't come to them. They send it to you because I guess they can tell by stool too. Yes, it is. And yeah, and the little box, it's a little, talking box. It's a little talking box on the commercial. But, they advertise everything on TV now. Nothing's off limits pretty much. I mean, I remember growing up, where they didn't even, they didn't they might have talked about feminine products, but you would never actually see the feminine products. Now they whip those suckers out on commercial ads, like, and in printed ads, like it's nothing. It was crazy when they didn't put them in the ads. It's like, so do you think we don't know what they look like because you don't put them in the ads? And you know It's something. It was things that part of the, you know, actual population needed. You know. Yeah, I just remember. I'm like, but now nothing is off limits. Everything is on TV. Everything is on TV. I guess that's just the way that they do things these days. I guess that's the way that they do things these days. But, I'm sure we're going to hear more in regards to Chadwick in the next couple of days. I really think that, number one, we're all reeling from it. And with us being in this quasi, you know, isolation mode, because, even though certain businesses and stuff are opening back up, people are not necessarily, you know, out there hanging out in the streets or anything. At least not a lot of us who are over certain ages. We stay in our butts home because we're not. It's not. It's not an option to be out there getting sick. Not an option. You know. Oh, that UPS man better not drop you. Adelina, you are out of control. But it is what it is. Yeah, because they have you mail those. Yeah, they have you mail them back. Oh, yeah, because you're not dropping it in the mailbox. I don't even. You know what? I don't even want to have that picture in my head. Let me just not even think about that. Let me. You know, I'm like, how do we get on this? Colon cancer. That's how we got on this. Yeah, that's not something that you can just drop in the mailbox. You know, I guess they do. Hell, I don't know. I've never used one of those kits. I don't know how it works, but I'm assuming that it's a courier service versus United States Postal Service. Let's hope so. Can you imagine? I mean, we're already having issues with the Postal Service delivering things. We don't want, and people are concerned about their medication that comes by mail getting to them on time. So hopefully that won't be something we put in there. Oh yeah, that's right. It's against the law to open up them packages. That's right. Even for FedEx and UPS, they have to follow the same standards with the packages as does USPS. It's federal offense. It's a federal offense to open up somebody else's mail. You know, and I think the it's like a fine and or jail. So you can just be fined, or you can go to jail, or you can be fined and go to jail for opening up somebody else's mail. And it's a federal offense. So, it's yeah, you don't want no, you don't want to go to federal prison for nothing. Yeah, because they'll send you to prison. They ain't sending you to jail. They're going to send you to prison. If you open up, well, I know if you open up the actual mail, like that comes in the mail, because I think they've sent mailmen to jail. for like just dumping people's mail and not delivering it. Y'all remember like a few years ago, there was some mailman that would just take the mail and just dump it in the trash? Crazy. That's why I have a post office box. I don't have no mail coming where I am because I do not trust mailmen, you know. So the only mail that comes here is junk mail and maybe one bill. And that would be like, what? I don't know, a light bill or a water bill, but yeah, a house bill. But all my other stuff goes to my P.O. box, which I've had for a long time. And my P.O. box is in an entirely different city than the city that I live in. That part. Yeah. Y'all know, it's not that DC's paranoid, it's just I'm careful. I'm just a careful kind of chick when it comes to that kind of stuff. And I like my mail going to the post office and just being there. You know? It's less likely to get lost in the mail if the only place it has to go is from one post office to another. Less likely. And then everybody don't need to know where I live. I don't even have my address on my driver's license. I have a P.O. box on my driver's license too. For the same reason. You know, I'm being careful. You know. So if I should ever, you know, get pulled over by cops or something, they don't need to know where I live. My mailing address is P.O. Box. As far as you know, that's where I live. You know? Let me see what she's saying. Be able to. You tore up the notice. Tore up what notice? Oh, can you go to jail for doing jury duty? Well, they got to catch you first, I guess. I mean, I haven't served jury duty in like 15 years. And the next time they come and ask me to serve jury duty, I'm going to ask for an exemption because of being a caregiver for my son. They even tried to get my son to come for jury duty. I had to send something to them to take him off the list. You know, first of all, you know, just because a person with autism votes does not mean that they also can focus enough to sit on a jury. Not gonna happen, you know. So, but I thought it was hilarious when they sent the daggone thing. I'm like, are you kidding me? I just got the regional center to give me something. I'm like, I'm not trying to go to his doctor for that. So I got a state agency to verify for them. But I mean, like right now, Tutu thing, from what I understand, most of the time when people are doing jury duty, at least in LA County, they don't actually even end up having to serve more than a day if they have to serve that one day. Most people are doing the call-in thing where they call in, or they have them come in for the first day, and if they don't get on a case that day, they're done. That's what happened to me the last time I actually served jury duty. Is that was the method that they were using in LA County. Is that you come in, you were either on call, the whole time, you know, or you would be on call until you had to come in. And if you came in that day and you didn't get on a jury, you were done. But mine was, I had to report that first Monday, and I sat there for half the day, and then they told us we were done, and we had fulfilled our jury duty. And so we got paid for that one day. But I didn't particularly care for doing jury duty because I always ended up on criminal cases. I didn't want to do no criminal case. I would always be at the criminal courts. And most of the criminal courts cases are long. So then the only people who can actually serve jury duty are usually retired people or county employees, because they're the only ones whose jobs will allow them to be out for months on jury duty. Most other companies, 10 days. That's it. You know, and you get paid at least the companies that I've worked for, you would get paid your regular pay for jury duty. They would just make you turn in the checks back in the day. But I'm like, yeah, I don't really want that. They didn't pay no money for doing jury duty. It was hardly anything. Hardly anything. Yeah, but you can get yourself out of it. If you have a medical reason, you can get yourself out off the list. If you have a medical reason. That's if they send it to you again. Because sometimes they'll send it to you again. They'll send you a new one saying, you didn't respond to the first one, so we're sending you this again. So if they send it to you again, then you can get a medical exemption. And then they'll take you off the list. Then they'll take you off the list. You know? Let everyone go fight the power. Say, you don't believe in the justice system? Well, I have served jury duty, Matt. I just don't want to serve jury duty anymore because of my son. And I don't want to, and my job would never let me sit on a criminal case because of the time period in. But a lot of times they usually exempt me. They'll usually put me off. Like on one case they took me off the case because I had dated someone who was in law enforcement. So they didn't want me on that case. And it was the defense that used their preemptive for me. A lot of times I would get preemptives. I would be somebody's preemptive. They didn't want me on their cases. So I'm good with it. Now I don't want to serve anymore. you know. But I've served before. The one case that I remember that I served on ended up being a mistrial. And that was a criminal negligence case. Where someone had hit someone and I believe the driver in the other car, she was pregnant, and uh, and the and the baby died as a result. But that wasn't part of my trial. We found out about that after they had a mistrial for our trial. Because apparently somebody said something in regards to that. Y'all see, I still remember the details from that one little trial that I was on. But other than that, I never served your actual jury duty other than sitting at the courthouse on my computer or reading books, you know, waiting for 12 o'clock to come so I could go home. You know, but for me, yeah, they don't, I don't want to do it no more. And my son won't, will, I had him put off the list. But I haven't gotten a jury summons in years. Knock on wood. I haven't gotten a jury summons in years. And I vote on a regular basis, so it ain't like they can't find me from my juror register, from voter registration, which is what they usually use. At least I believe that's what they use. I believe they use voter registration. Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, Matt. The problem is that for most of the criminal trials, they're generally long trials, and most of us are county employees. A lot of black people are county employees, at least here at least in LA. So when they have those kind of trials, that are those long trials, it is usually black people who are on the jury. Why do you think O.J. Simpson had all them black people on his jury? Because those are the people who work for the county. I'm telling you. Now, that demographics may have changed, but a lot of the county employees are people of color, and generally those are the people who can serve on those long trials. When I was serving on jury duty, I could never serve on a trial for more than 10 days. So I would never ever get picked for one of those trials that went for weeks and months. And when they do the jury selections, they tell you what they estimate it's going to be. So right then whether you're even going to be able to serve on that, because of financial reasons. But at least that's the way it is here. And I mean, I have friends that live in New York. I know a lot of black people work for the city there. That's another major city. When you have those, a lot of times, if you're in metropolitan areas, you generally are going to get a lot of people who are civil servants in the jury pool, because they're the ones who can serve on those long ones. Was I yelling run, OJ? No, I was. We were all watching that. I'm gonna tell you, when the Bronco was going up the 405 here in California, we were all watching in total disbelief. We were just like, what the F is going on? Is that OJ? Is OJ in that? We were just tripping because, you know, back then, I'm just going to say how it was back then. At that time, a lot of black people did not want to believe that he had anything to do with it. Okay. It definitely looked like it was a professional hit. It still, in my mind, was a professional hit, but I don't think his hands are clean. However, he got off because that trial happened after the Rodney King trial. The Rodney King trial was taken out of LA and taken to Simi Valley with a jury of their peers, their white peers, and they got off. So when they had the OJ trial, and that was a mostly black jury, if you go back and look, and most of them were county employees or city employees, they basically, that was the response. But let's just be honest. In that particular case, the police messed up a lot of the evidence. They tampered with the evidence. If they'd have just left everything alone, it would have been clean. And maybe he would have gone to prison for that. But they eventually got him, when he did that other thing. They couldn't get him for the murder, but they sent him to jail for 8 years anyway for something else. So they made OJ into a felon one way or another. They made him into an ex-convict one way or another. And, hopefully, OJ will just sit his ass down and not do anything else. He's too old to be doing stupid stuff now. But he's a narcissist. That is a narcissist. And he likes attention. So I don't know, I mean, he's OJ Simpson. So he's capable of doing something else stupid again, even as an old man. But I'm so sure that Vegas loves the fact that they're stuck with him. Hey, we don't want him back here in California. I'm trying to tell you. And Florida definitely don't want him back either. So. But he's been keeping a pretty low profile lately. He only comes out and says something stupid every once in a while. I remember back in the day when I was in college, he used to, and this is so, y'all know this is an asinine move. Him and his friend at the time, Marcus Allen, used to hang out. After Marcus had, he was no longer in school, but they would come and hang out during football season at the bar, looking at all the little white chippies because Marcus wasn't into us. Wasn't into us. There were a few football players that weren't into us at USC, obviously. And even if they were, somebody else was ready to snatch them up. They wanted those high value, they wanted them. I don't know why you were shocked by the verdict. See, if you had been in California, Matt, and had been here when the riots happened after the Rodney King verdict for those police, you wouldn't have been surprised at all. I knew when Johnny Cochran said, if the glove doesn't fit, you must have quit. I knew. I knew when he said that. Well, I mean, Matt, don't I mean I am an athlete too. Okay? And athletes were attracted to me, football players and basketball players. So I didn't have this issue, you know. But I wasn't interested in any of the football players when I was at SC. I dated a football player when I went to Hampton, when I was at the HBCU. And when I went to SC, you know, I told y'all before, when I went to SC, when I came to California, the black people here acted funny style. So I was from a whole nother part of the country where, you know, being proud of being a black person was not a fad. You know, it wasn't trending. And it was just starting to hit the West Coast, you know, and everybody was materialistic. It was just a different scene for me when I first came out here. So I didn't really deal with the black people here at first. I just dealt with people who were from the East Coast. I dealt with black people. I just didn't deal with black people that were from here. let me put it like that part. Yeah, it took me a minute to find some down to earth folk in LA at USC. Keep in mind what my environment was when I originally came out here. I was at a a, a private, you know, I was at a white university, y'all, and an expensive one. It's much more expensive now than it was when I was there, but it was expensive then. So, I went to SC and my sister went to UCLA. Crosstown rivals. But two girls from DC got into these California schools. How about that part? That's all I have to say. Oh, and me, I had to get into USC twice because I got accepted when I out of high school, but my parents would not let me come to California. So I went to Hampton for a year, and then I reapplied, unbeknownst to my parents. You know, was on the dean's list at Hampton, so I could get into SC again, and I was able to con them into let me come out to California. And then everybody followed me to California. Literally, my entire family followed me to California. I know a lot, but a lot. Here's the thing: a lot of people believed that OJ was innocent back then. A lot of black people did. I I would say now in 2020, I would say that less black people. You know, I would say less. I would say more of us believe that he had something to do with it. I don't think any of us believe that he actually did it because the way that stuff was done, it was done too cleanly and with such precision that it was definitely professional. But I think his ass was standing right there when it happened. And I don't know if he was there to stop it or if he was there to see that it happened. You know, one or the other. But I'm about to get off of here, y'all, because my phone is about to die and I am on the mobile. I have 9% battery left. But I will be premiering my video tomorrow. That stuff with chat would kind of really mess with me today, and by the time I got ready to premiere it was just late, so I just decided I'd do it tomorrow. So it'll be out tomorrow. Yeah, everyone thinks that it was about drugs. They think that it was a drug hit, and that, you know, the story is that she she wasn't paying her drug bill, and OJ wouldn't pay it for her. That's the story. All right, let me come on. Let me come on here so y'all can see me. 1 second. Hey guys. You want to come over? Hurry up. Don't step on my iPad. Here he comes. Here he comes. Can you see him? He's waving at y'all. Okay. Okay. I love you. I love you. I know. My son loves to do that. But you know what? It's all good. It's all good. Definitely, y'all, pray for Chadwick Boseman's family. Pray for his family. Um, I, I don't know how much they knew. I'm assuming that they did know he was fighting this battle. I'm hoping that somebody in his family knew. But just pray for the family. I mean, because this is, you know, we are feeling this, but this is much more of a loss for them. I'm telling y'all, 2020 ain't nothing. It's just this year is just has just been blown up. All right, y'all. I'm gonna get out of here. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Until then, peace and blessings from the West Side. See you guys soon. Bye. Peace.